Hey guys, Lost here. The Arma series is one of those games that has had a lasting impact on the PC community and gaming as a whole. Its content has caused growth in many YouTube channels, including in small part my own, and helped define what a realistic first-person shooter should be like in today's gaming market. The series has seen its ups and downs over the past 2 decades, but it begs the question, what's next? So with Arma being the last thing on my mind this summer, I thought I'd talk about the current state of its latest game, Arma 3, and where the series might be going next. So get ready because there's going to be a lot of information in this video. So oftentimes when you talk about a state of a game, you're going to talk about player count. Right now Arma is between its highest and lowest most active points with about 20,000 active players at a time. It's certainly not as popular as it used to be, but the community is still very active and very much there. Yes, you can see a downward trend, however, with an almost 5-year-old game, this is nothing to be ashamed of, especially when the player base is still so active. Now with all this rise and fall of player count, we've seen of course a lot of updates to the game, and 2018 is no exception. The beginning of the year brought us the Tanks DLC, which has been planned for a very long time. It adds a series of tanks, a new mini-campaign, a new showcase, as well as a series of free features enhancing the game. Of course, there's far more than just that, but not enough time in this video. The next series of updates, Update 1.84 or the Encore update, included more assets like the USS Liberty, which is a destroyer, some surface-to-air missile systems, anti-radiation missiles, and small-diameter guided bombs for both NATO and CSAT. Over the summer, the development team also took a look at some of the old scenarios that have been in Arma 3 since the beginning to make sure they are all up to date and have everything included in them that has been updated so far. All this isn't mentioning the constant effort that the modding community has put into the game, which has allowed for hundreds and hundreds of hours of new content to be played. Now looking slightly ahead to the end of 2018, but still in the here and now, is a bonus to all the players who own the Apex DLC, and that is the Old Man DLC. From what I've read, the codename Old Man DLC will give a new free single-player scenario for Apex owners. It will take place on Tanoa, and it is going to be an epilogue to the East Wind and Apex Protocol campaigns that are already in the game. Other than that, not a whole lot can be said. But now, looking forward. So for this, a good place to start will be Arma 3's website, where this is the first thing they have to say. In parallel to the splendid work done by the Arma 3 development team, our publishing team is also pursuing a few more options to support the game and its community in the next few years. So with that one sentence, it's very clear that their focus is going to continue to be on Arma 3. Even after almost 5 whole years since its release and constant updates and development, Arma 3 is still their main focus. I wish I had more information on what specifically that meant, but they do say that they will be getting help from third-party outside sources for some brand new Arma 3 DLC in the future. And for that, this is what they have to say. We wish to see the first round of third-party DLC published in 2019 or even sooner. Again, what that means specifically, I'm not exactly sure. And lastly, when it comes to new plans for future content, Bohemia's studio in Amsterdam that worked on the Laws of War DLC is currently working on a new experimental project that will make use of the Arma 3 platform, which, and I quote, intends to take things into a very, very different direction. I wish I had more information on the subject, but if you look at their website, they even acknowledge they are intentionally keeping things very vague, and there's really not much any of us can do about it for right now. Now, of course, I've been talking a lot about the future of Arma 3, but everybody who's played Arma 3 a lot is going to be thinking, well, what about Arma 4? Is there a next game coming out? Now, there is nothing official on their website, but I do have a little bit of information. And it comes in the form of a tweet from all the way back in February. It may be old news to some of you, but nonetheless, I still have this information. This tweet comes from Jay Crow, who is the former creative director at Bohemia Interactive. And he says this: Tanks is our last announced title, and project lead Wojtek Kowarek is busy working out post-release plans, which we'll share as soon as we can. Suffice to say, we're already laying the foundations of a future Arma with work on our next engine, Infusion, but it's a long road. Now, of course, the beginning of this tweet makes it sound like he could be talking about the Old Man DLC, but he very clearly states of a future Arma. In the tweet, he does say a future Arma, not Arma 4, which means could it possibly be a different named title rather than a sequential 4? That's pure speculation, and I have no basis for that on. he could literally just mean Arma 4. Although it wouldn't be uncommon for an aging game to try and change up the way it releases its series by changing up the name and not having a simple sequential number. But anyway, the next part of this tweet, he mentions the Infusion engine, and if those of you who don't know, the Infusion engine is currently what DayZ standalone runs on. Now, I can't say that's exactly reassuring, but who knows what it'll be like in the future. That's probably a whole nother video on its own. Now, I really wish I could give some accurate speculation, as amateur as it may be, as to when the next Arma would be released, because I want it just as bad as you do. However, based on the information they've given out right now, their DLCs are probably going to extend into 2019, which means at bare minimum, we'll hear about Arma 4 probably around 2020, but that can completely change if they decide to put out even more DLC in the future. Realistically, that kind of information just simply isn't out yet, and this video wasn't really made for speculation. So we are getting to the end here. This is probably going to be my last Arma video for a while. This video is really just made to find out where exactly Arma stands now, what is defined for the future, and you can base your speculation off that. So feel free to let me know in the comments below what you think. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe for more content like this, and I will see you guys later.